another video. We're going to be making a pair of tongs out of this 3-foot, I think half-inch round stock steel from Home Depot, so let's jump right into it. Conveniently enough, this thing is exactly 36 inches, so that means the middle point should be right at 18. Now that we got the middle point, what we need to do is mark 3 inches to each side. So 1, 2, 3, right at 15. And then line back up. 1, 2, 3, right at 21. You want to try to make sure they're on the same side, so when you make your marks in the middle, they're even. Get a metal file and just try to put a groove right on the marks. So the goal is to get that middle section where you had all the marks planned out, heated up to where you can start forging it. And you're going to try to put that right on the edge, right, and hit it. You want to get it as close on that mark possible, make a big deformation. Now, you can come back and straighten that up a tad, but doing the outer marks first, so you're just getting them bent with a nice lump there. The goal will be to flatten this middle section from point to point out to about half the width. A little bit less than half the width, so closer to a quarter. So now we're going to do the other side. So you put it back in the fire, and then you heat that side up and do the same exact thing. Okay, you got to remember while you're doing this, not to get too over anxious. You're just trying to get between them two marks. You don't want to taper it down, you don't want to taper it up to anything, just between them two marks, that's it. You bring it down to half the width, and you got to try to keep the whole thing straight. Keeping the whole thing straight is probably the hardest part, because the nature of metal when you squish it is it wants to bend, it wants to deform to make up for that material moving around. But you gotta stay on top of it to not let it. So this is probably going to take a couple more heats, and we'll have it down to the final width. And then after that, we'll bend it around the horn of the anvil. If you don't have a horn of an anvil, just try to find some round piece of metal. Okay, so first we're going to give it just a little bit of a bend by hand. We're going to be trying to make sure it's nice and even while we do this. You want to get your hammer ready and try to kind of keep it nice and even. You want to hammer it on the side a couple of times. Bend it a tad bit more. Starting to try to kink up on the one side, so what you got to do, you got to try to bend it evenly. So okay, we got a nice U-shaped bend in it. Goes all the way to the end. Next, we're gonna let this cool down and feel how springy it is, as is. So set that to the side to where it ain't gonna fall over, and you just leave it sitting there for a bit, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, now that we forged a U-shaped bend into it, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, and then we'll try to round this out a bit more, bring the center in a bit, make it look more like a pair of tongs, and then we'll start working on bending the tops over to actually grab stuff. So, see you tomorrow. Now you may be thinking, Earl, you didn't do anything. You just took a hat off, and it ain't tomorrow. Well, that's because that definitely isn't because I forgot to film this the other day. So we'll just jump into this, and trust me, it's tomorrow. Well, I've seen this cool thing that Alex Steele does, where he'll take a piece of metal, hit it, and he's able to light a forge that way. So I'm gonna try that. I just got this nice nail. I'm gonna try to start a forge. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here to try to get this round again is I'm gonna cool off the end. That way, hopefully it won't bend, and then bend it around the horn of the anvil a bit, and then okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to bend this over the edge of the anvil, keep that flat. What we're going to try to do, basically we got to try to bend this in to where they meet in the middle. You want to try to make them about as deep as each other. Okay. So we got them nice and even, they're touching like this, and we're pretty close to perfect. This side's a bit longer, but it doesn't really matter, just so long as they work. Now, I need to make the line this way along them, so I need to pull them apart opposite ways. And this is going to be the hard part. I'm going to have to set it like this, hold it, and hit it this way with my chisel. Okay, I ain't heating it up all the way to red, but the first thing you do is you just kind of bend it to where they're facing like this, so we can work each one independently. Now, I'm going to let this cool off, and we'll get back to it. Okay, so I cut the slits into it with the angle grinder. This time, I should be able to open it up just a tad with the chisel. Just enough to get the fuller in there. Grab the fuller,